G'day everyone, Pete Coleman here at InfoComm 2019 in Orlando, and today I've got a very special guest, Mr. Rashid Skaf, the President and CEO of Biamp Systems, and we're on the Biamp stand, and I'm very fortunate to have some of his time this morning and to delve a little bit into Rashid's background and his career, and maybe find out a few things that you might not know about Rashid and his past. So, Rashid, welcome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Peter. It's great to be with you as always.
Thank you. Now, Rashid, your background is as a telecoms engineer, and you started off with Ericsson.
Mm-hmm.
What lessons did you learn, or what information did you gain back then that you've been able to apply today, or throughout your career?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, being part of a big company, I got my master's in the U.S. and started with Ericsson, working on different problems that were had, and I did a little over $1 billion worth of sales for them during the 5 years I was there. It's a great thing for a young person to start off in a big company that understands process, procedures, ways of working, to not kind of go into this kind of freewheeling structure, but to start with a very large company and understand the training, the onboarding, the process and procedures that they have, and then maybe transition to a startup rather than the other way around, which happens so often. So.
Okay. And you then moved to AMX, right?
Yeah, actually, I went to another startup.
Okay.
I went to a startup company that we grew from 12 guys to 250 guys, 10 million in market cap to 450 million in market cap in 12 months.
Yes.
So I was part of that kind of exciting build-up of a startup, and there you learn to load Coke machines and take out the garbage. And
what were you doing then?
I was the head of product management, sales, and marketing. So I really did what we were going to sell and then how to get it to the market at the end of the day.
Interesting. And so from there you transitioned, you moved to AMX.
I went to Nortel, who bought the company.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
How long were you at Nortel for?
I was there, I was in the top 30 guys within Nortel when Nortel was 100,000 people.
Right.
I was there for 2 years and a day.
Okay.
That was sort of my transition period for that business over to Nortel management.
Okay. And then you moved to AMX?
And then I moved to another startup.
Oh my God. There's so much
history
that we don't know about.
Yeah, that was also in the telecom. It was actually doing a tablet type of interface,
Right.
and before tablets and everything else, for kind of home use.
Okay.
And we turned that into a telecom company doing voice over DSL and voice over IP.
Yes.
And sold that to Uniden ultimately. And then I transitioned
Then you
into
transitioned to
AMX. Yeah.
And so you're at AMX for 15 years.
Yeah.
And during that time, we saw the transition from analog systems to digital systems. How was that transition for AMX and in particular yourself? What were the challenges that you faced?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I kind of went through the same thing when I joined Ericsson in the early days.
Yeah.
It was analog cellular, and we transitioned to digital.
Yes.
And one of the things that happened on the analog side was there was a bunch of non-standard products that all wired together with magic cables.
Yes.
that you had to have in order to make it work. In the digital realm, it was all about standards and being able to interconnect things like GSM and the cellular world. And I use that same philosophy at AMX to make sure that we followed standards, make sure that we follow easy ways of making interoperability happen. We live in a world where we want to be able to explode into the market, not just have incremental kind of growth. And in order to do that, you really should follow standards that make it easy for everybody to play together.
Absolutely, yeah. Interoperability is
key.
Extremely important, isn't it? And especially when you're trying, like from a control systems company like AMX, you're trying to work with everybody, really, aren't you?
Yeah. We're kind of the Switzerland. We were the Switzerland at the time, and wanted to make sure everything connected together and worked seamlessly.
Wow. Okay. And then so you're at AMX for 15 years. You then seemingly disappeared off the face of the earth for about 2 years.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you send me a message on LinkedIn saying, "Hey Pete, I've got some really exciting news. About to make an acquisition. Just wanted to reach out and let you know."
Yep.
And you wouldn't tell me who it was. And I was
Sounds like me, yeah.
That's right. I'm like, okay, you've got something great to tell me, and then you wouldn't tell me. And I was like, don't do this to me. But I remember I was convinced that you're going to acquire Lightwear, because I was thinking AMX, Lightwear, small company, similar kind of company, and you could probably do something with that. Obviously, that wasn't the case, so that was incorrect. And I remember when the news broke of the acquisition of Biamp,
Yep.
I was actually sitting in the boardroom of the Biamp boardroom in Brisbane. I had Jim Soretis next to me. I had Graham Harrison in the room. I was sitting there, and then this message came up on LinkedIn about the acquisition, and I was just like, this is too surreal. I'm thinking, like, did you have all that planned?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm into that level of detail for sure. But, no, it was perfect timing. It just worked out that way. You know, these things tend to work out in the timing that they're supposed to, and you try to push them along, but at the end of the day, they sort of naturally happen when it feels right for both parties.
And why Biamp? What did you see in Biamp?
I'd had a love affair with Biamp for forever, basically, and this was actually my fourth time trying to buy Biamp.
Right.
I'm glad I didn't get to buy them the first three times, and so this was a great way to kind of culminate all of that. What I loved about Biamp was that it had the culture, the underlying technology, the quality, the reputation, and the brand that I believe that could build on. Because our goal wasn't to buy Biamp and that's it, but to buy a platform that we could build on and a brand that we could surround other solutions with. And so that was sort of the thought process. We were looking for a company that had scale, that was big enough that would stand on its own. But small enough that you could add 5, 6, 10, 12 companies to it and still manage the growth path.
Okay. And we've seen a lot of disruptive technologies come in over the years. Now, Biamp is, I described it yesterday to someone as a very organic company, like organic growth. And it has this audio DNA about it. Like, is that DNA going to change at all? I mean, because fundamentally we're in a different environment than what we were 5-10 years ago.
Sure.
So what do you see changing with Biamp? Like, obviously you've got your background and your influence with other companies and other technologies. What do you see changing within Biamp, or if anything?
I think it's already changed. I mean, if you look downstairs, if you were here, I bought the company 18 months ago. If you were here 2 years ago, you would see a company that was very DSP focused, and that was sort of the realm of what we did. We have, by this show, we have launched a slew of products from end to end, both from the microphone, to the speaker and everything in between, amplifiers and switches and connection systems and everything else. And that's really the philosophy that we're going after now: is how do we create organically a end-to-end solution for what we're trying to do, and then how do we make sure that we go through acquisition for things that we want to accelerate or we may or may not have the perfect expertise for in-house. You'll see that you saw it already with Crowd Mics, which is our first acquisition. Cambridge Sound Management for our sound masking. You'll see another couple of acquisitions here, hopefully one by the end of the year and one or two next year.
You got an exclusive for me that something you can...
No, just like I didn't tell you I was buying Biamp, I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but I hope it will be. I hope it will be soon.
So do you see that the future for Biamp is that technology is coming from external parties, through acquisitions to grow the business?
No, it's both. It's going to be the internal growth is to sort of double the company from where it was, and make sure that we deliver on that whole solution set, mostly in the audio space, mostly in the that management space. We will see some other acquisitions like video potentially, or control, that will be more through acquisitions, because it hasn't been something that's been part of our DNA in the past. And so we're going to bring some people in that live, breathe, and eat video or control. And it will be a new way of doing things. I'm not a big fan of going backwards in time. I want to kind of look towards where it's going and use the skate to where the puck is going to be, the Wayne Gretzky quote, rather than where it's been, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've said in the past that I believe that AVB is a superior technology to other systems that are out there. Not that the other systems are inferior in any way, but I love what AVB is all about, the technology behind it, the standards base and so on. Biamp are the only, or one of the only companies that have been pushing AVB.
Yep.
Is that going to continue to be a focus for Biamp, like moving forward? I mean, there's a lot of, obviously there are other technologies out there that have got greater market share, and for me it's quite awkward because, as I said, AVB I think is up here and other technologies are here, yet it doesn't have the market penetration.
And I'll state it this way: I think the discussion for us is almost irrelevant. So we support today CobraNet. We support Dante. We're one of the largest deployers of Dante in the world.
Yes.
So when people say we're AVB, it's not really fair because we do Dante. We just launched Dante Domain Manager here at the show. And AVB is, I like to refer to as AV for Biamp. It really is our proprietary protocol. If you go to any other manufacturer on the floor here, they all have their own version of their internal communication protocol. If you look at it from that standpoint, I believe that we have now removed that obstacle altogether. We just launched a connection system here called Tessera Connect, which is basically a product in a box that allows you to connect all of your Biamp devices together. And once you bring that back to the DSP, you can speak whatever the hell you want to the rest of the network. So it is our internal cloud to remove the obstacle of saying, I like this protocol versus that protocol. I don't care. I don't get paid for selling Dante versus AVB versus CobraNet versus whatever is coming next. I just don't care. And to me, it's whatever our customers want that will make it easy. And we have implemented certain things in certain ways in our proprietary standard that you shouldn't have to worry about.
And we've seen a lot of companies over the years, they've gone from their core business, whether it be control systems or DSPs, to expanding their portfolio. Like you mentioned before, you're talking about potentially control and you're talking about video and so on. Do you feel as though that's a necessary move for, I suppose, all companies to offer, a complete ecosystem rather than just doing what they do? Like, for instance, Biamp just doing DSPs in the past.
I don't think it's an absolute necessity to do that. So, I mean, the integration channel is all about bringing things together and having the best solution sets. I think it's important that companies offer solutions for the venues that they go after, and we have a very venue-specific strategy of if we're going to be in those types of spaces that we want to be able to offer the complete solution. Doesn't mean you have to buy every component. We still have to earn your business every day. We have to earn it on every single point.
But you're building on the Biamp brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
The name.
And we believe that by doing it all together, you can build a better ecosystem than if you have to piecemeal it out. Again, some people will love that, some people won't. It's going to be your choice what you want as an integrator.
Okay. Voice is something that's always, that I believe is a big game changer for our industry. We're obviously seeing huge penetration with like Amazon Alexa and Google Home and those kinds of products. What is Biamp doing, or is Biamp going to be supporting voice-enabled devices or integrating them into systems? Is that on the roadmap at all?
Well, there's all kinds of interfaces that those solutions already provide, so that you can build APIs into them, or there are APIs built into them that you can utilize in order to enable those. We don't really talk about future product maps, but voice, yeah, exactly. Voice in general is obviously near and dear to my heart. I started off on the voice side, and I've kind of come full circle. I do think that voice has a place. It is not the only solution that's out there, and so the goal is we will ultimately support voice. How that will be done, by whom it will be done, where it will be done, will yet to be revealed.
Okay. One more question. Yeah. Every time we meet a couple of times a year, all around the world, you always provide me with a book recommendation. Have you got a recommendation for me this time around?
You know, I have to tell you that I have provided you with a book, and in the last 18 months, I have been so busy.
Really?
I try to read a new book at least once a quarter.
Yes.
It used to be once a month, but that's sort of gone out the window these days.
Well, maybe audiobooks are the solution.
Yeah, audiobooks. Yeah, you know, I think I already did this one for you, but I just re-listened to it again, which is the book called Tipping Points.
Yes, yeah, that's
and
very good.
I absolutely love that book. I think it's great. And same author, another book called Blink, which I've recommended to you. Both of those books I just re-listened to here in the last quarter. Fantastic books by an amazing author.
Well, look, I've listened to both of those books. I say I'm not so much a reader, I'm more of a listener.
Yep.
I can multitask.
I understand.
But they're fantastic books, great author, narrated by the author as well, and some really great practical examples. And I recommend them to others as well.
Yeah. I just reread Catch-22 after about 30 years, and it is for an amusing book. It definitely is worth a read.
I'll put that on the list.
All right,
excellent.
Sounds
Rashid
great.
Skaf, thank you very much for your time, and
Thank
good
you,
luck
Pete.
with Biamp and all the future success to you and the company.
Pete, thank you so much. Great to see you again. Look forward to seeing you in August
Great.
at Integrate. Thanks.
Thanks again.